Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. In other words, my office. Welcome to the Fourth Hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. I just about missed you this morning. There was an article that I was looking for, Kurt Schlichter over at townhall.com. And this caught my attention this morning. I didn't talk about it on the air. So I wanted to bring it up here during the Fourth Hour. Kurt Schlichter is a columnist at townhall.com. And he says, the headline is what caught my attention: threatening to prosecute your opponents when they give up power is a bad idea. And he said all the Democrats out there announcing that as soon as they get power, they're going to use the full weight of government to prosecute anybody who had anything to do with the Donald Trump administration reminds me of a historical analog. They won't recognize it because most of them don't believe that history started until after 1619, or maybe when Barack Obama got elected. But he goes on to talk about Julius Caesar and what happened, and, you know, making comments about as Commander Caesar got very, very rich, very, very powerful, and then his enemies in Rome began to get nervous because he was a political threat to them. So they began to demand that he put down his imperium then and return to Rome. And what he gets to here is he's talking about the power that the president has and going after political enemies and what may happen. And a lot of this, it gets a little bit deep, to be honest with you. But I have thought about this. And he said, you know, these threats to immediately prosecute Republicans, let's bring it back to today. Not for committing crimes, but for embracing policies that the left doesn't like. He's saying this cannot be ignored. And this isn't justice. They don't even make a case for it being justice. It's pure power. And then he goes on to, talk about pure power and what this means. And he says, Julius Caesar was famously kind to his enemies. He showed mercy to most of the people who opposed him during the Roman Civil War that he fought and won. Of course, it was the same people he showed mercy to who ended up stabbing him to death. That's another lesson of history, but one that we need to learn. And when we learn it, it's not going to go well for the enemies who force us to protect ourselves from the oppression that they promise to impose upon us. But there's hope. It's not too late to not repeat history. I'm just not optimistic that the left is not so dumb and malicious that it will stumble into a catastrophe, he's saying. So let's piece this together a little bit, that he is expecting the Democrats, and this is the point really that caught my attention. He is expecting the Democrats, once they are in power, that they are going to prosecute whoever and they can. And this is something I have long thought about, that I absolutely believe, based on what we saw happening to Donald Trump during the time that Joe Biden was president, when Democrats get back into power again, and I assume they will, once they get back into power again, will we see more of this, the same? And will we then, and I'm not just talking about Donald Trump, will we see them now focusing on whether it's members of Congress or whether it was people, Stephen Miller would be a great example. He's part of the Trump administration right now, absolutely reviled and hated by the left for a number of reasons. One can't help but wonder if it's one of those reasons is because Stephen Miller is Jewish, or any one of a number of reasons. I could totally see the left going after Stephen Miller because he's very much like Donald Trump. Oftentimes when I hear him speak, he speaks with the same kind of moral clarity and authority that at least that I hear coming from Donald Trump. So it'll be amazing, but I think Kurt Schlichter is onto something. This has been in my thoughts about what happens once the Democrats are back in power, and I know they will be. Once they are back in power, how are they going to respond? Are they going to begin going after their political enemies for no crimes other than we disagree with them on any one of a number of issues? It was kind of a thought-provoking piece, which is one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up today. Also, President Trump, let's go to President Trump's True Social account. And he said, this was about 8 hours ago, he said, the biggest threat in history to United States national security would be a negative decision on tariffs by the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, I know that's not a popular topic with a lot of folks, the tariffs, but the president really, really hoping that the U.S. Supreme Court will stand behind the tariffs. And we'll see which way it goes. The president saying we would be financially defenseless. Now, Europe is going to tariffs against China, as they already do against others. We would not be allowed to do what others already do. And then he included a link to a story from justthenews.com that the EU nations are weighing tariffs on China. And then the president followed that up with another post, and he said, because of tariffs easily and quickly applied, our national security has been greatly enhanced. And we have become the financially strongest country by far anywhere in the world. Only dark and sinister forces would want to see that end, the president said. That was about 7-8 hours ago that he made those comments. I'm going to share a piece of video here. Usually I don't share video. I just read, but you have got to hear this gaffe rather, from former President Joe Biden. He was speaking at an LGBTQ forum, and take a listen to this. It's a shortcut.
We just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith.
Hold on. I'm going to turn that volume up a little bit. That's pretty soft. Let's play that again.
We just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are.
What? What was that? I'm going to roll that again.
We just have to get up.
The United States of America. What?
Hope, we get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are. We're the U.S.
Oh, we're the U.S. And then he had to shorten it. He had to shorten it to U.S. And I'm like, what? I think that's among the worst that I've seen coming from former President Joe Biden. Wow, that was a little bit brutal. Hey, I'm gonna leave you early today. I'm gonna leave it there for today. I got wrapped up in that Kurt Schlichter piece, and my apologies. It was a little bit long for the points that he was making, but I think it's worth noting, and I think he's absolutely right. Will we see Democrats going after Republicans specifically for what they perceive to be political crimes, not for any real wrongdoing other than a difference of opinion? Something I think about a lot. Okay, you have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are here each and every day commenting, sharing their thoughts. I appreciate hearing from all of you. So thank you so much for making the Greg Belfrage Show a part of your day. Appreciate all of you. So long until tomorrow, my friend. Until then, I'm underground and gone.